In this how-to tutorial, we're going to teach you how to use Instagram and specifically Instagram Reels for lead generation, for marketing, for your business. Here are my assumptions with Instagram Reels. Instagram Reels, owned by Facebook, of course, is in a head-to-head competition with TikTok, and they are fighting for our attention. In fact, they need us so badly because we are the creators. We are the folks that put in the time, that share the stories, that put ourselves out there, make ourselves vulnerable to connect with people, and sometimes to educate them, and sometimes to entertain them, and sometimes both. But we are the people. And without us, frankly, they would not have their platforms, specifically because there would be no place to put those advertisements. So we need them and they need us. Now, Instagram Reels is powerful. There's a couple of limitations when you compare it directly to TikTok, but overall, it has massive potential to get you to a completely new audience. I believe that Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and even YouTube, for a certain extent, to a certain type of creator, the audience is your existing audience, at least 90% of the time. Now, if you're doing it with the best practices, and if you know how to storytell, and if you know how to actually work with the algorithms and work with these audiences of people that are just looking for content, in fact, you can expand that audience. And Instagram Reels is a fantastic place to do it. So I wanted to introduce Shannon, and we're going to get into this idea of how to get into a workflow of creating content, having that content calendar, the type of topics, how to actually record videos, either do them yourself if you have the time, or to outsource them, delegate them to a team of editors and writers, and then get into that continual cadence to put your content out there. So Shannon, if you could sort of take us through the process of how a video gets created, and then it gets edited, the copywriting gets added, and then ultimately published, I think people could really benefit from that.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, it's constant content creation here at Dubb. So I can walk you through how we do it. There's so many different ways to do it. There's no wrong way to create content, but here's how we do it. So first of all, we have an idea, and then we immediately hit record. Once we have the idea, we're ready to go. I mean, we like to kind of write as we record. So if that means taking a few takes, that's okay. With the real-time editing apps, and when I say real-time editing, that can sound very complex, but you probably already are using real-time editing apps already. So for example, Instagram Reels has a great camera that's built into the Instagram platform that allows you to edit the video that you're recording in real time. And it's similar camera for the stories camera. If you ever use Instagram stories, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. So with Instagram Reels, you're able to record clips in real time. And then if you're writing the script in real time, so if that sentence didn't make sense, or you want to say it in a different way, you can easily go back, re-record that clip. And then when you're finished with your video, maybe add a few text effects, because on these platforms, text, I mean, they're mostly audio off platforms, but now, of course, actually TikTok and Reels is like the generation of audio for these platforms for sure, in terms of like compared to the main Instagram feed, which is very text dominated, a lot of audio off. But now, of course, text is still a part of it. So you want to have big, bold text to like get people into the video, but then you can expect that the audio will be on for Reels and TikToks. Now, I mentioned TikToks because Reels are actually very similar product to TikTok. You know, Instagram basically copied TikTok with the Reels product. And if you're wondering what Reels is, it's basically like a TikTok inside of Instagram. It has its own page. If you're wondering how to post to Reels, you swipe right on your home feed, or there's various post buttons now around Instagram. They change their interface frequently, but if you find a little plus icon, you'll be able to post to Reels. It's just like labeled as that. And then once you get it up there, it'll actually be pushed out to people organically and dynamically. So this is what TikTok pioneered, the algorithm. You might have heard people talking about the algorithm. And what the algorithm does is pushes your videos out to people who are brand new, who have never met you before, but might be in your demographic. It's almost like paid advertising without paying. So it's pretty interesting. And, it benefits the platform because they're getting viewers great content, and it benefits you because you're getting your content out to more people. It's kind of giving you, your 15 minutes of fame. So that's the idea behind Reels. And there's our Instagram page right there. And there's a few of our recent Instagram feed posts. What's interesting is that Reels are actually not shown on the desktop version of Instagram right now, unless you post to the main feed. So, and that's actually an interesting stipulation, that you have the opportunity to post your Reel to your main Instagram feed, or just to keep it private to the Reels feed. And so why would you want to do that? Well, maybe your Reels are experimental. You just want to get out to people, take advantage of the algorithm, get your video pushed out to new people, but you don't want it to clutter your perfect Instagram grid, because a lot of brands and businesses and people just love really customizing their main Instagram feed. So you can keep that by itself, just use Reels as kind of a test. And yeah, so that's one cool tip. But yeah, we've experimented and we've seen really awesome engagement that we've never really seen before. Comments, new people finding out about Dubb, using our platform. Our platform, you can send videos on our platform too. So these kind of things go together. Where it's like, hey, go out and people, if you're on Reels and you're using Reels, you might be interested in Dubb because we're a platform that also allows you to create videos easily and send them. But of course, we're more business oriented, especially for sales and marketing verticals. So it's been a journey using Reels, and we're continuing to learn about the platform as well and how to optimize posting on it.
Yeah, and I think there's a couple of nuances that make it really interesting. Number one is that it's really important to know that there's really three types of content. Number one is completely ephemeral content. Number two is evergreen content. And now there's this sort of third world, which is kind of a blend between them. Because oftentimes, on TikTok or on Instagram Reels, you might publish a video and that might get seen for a day or two or three or a couple of days. And then it sort of goes away if it doesn't have any type of viral effect. That's probably what's going to happen most of the time. And then, of course, that's why they're really promoting us to continue to create content. Whereas on an Instagram feed, on your main posts, that's like a library. That's a portfolio of your pieces. Oftentimes people make their portfolios on their Instagram pages look really nice. They kind of coincide with colors or with themes, things like this. So what Shannon said is really interesting because Reels and stories are good places to experiment. They're good places to put out new, fresh types of content that maybe you haven't done in the past. Knowing that probably is not going to stick around for a while. It's going to be gone, either completely gone on stories or done with visibility on Reels. So experiment, A/B test. This is really important. I think the last thing that I'll share here is, this idea of creating content yourself and then delegating or outsourcing your content. So one of my challenges is that it's very difficult for me to get from the beginning all the way to the end of creating a video. And the reason why that happens is because there's distractions that happen. Either I get distracted or something in my environment distracts me, and then I'm not able to put in the full attention to do the copywriting, to bring the hashtags in, to do the editing, to add the text, to add the music, add the emojis or the stickers, to add some dynamism to them. What I can do really well is I can record the core raw content. I can come up with a story, come up with a how-to guide, come up with a tutorial. I'll get my bursts in. I'm not always perfect. I make mistakes. I will flub lines. I'll have little typos, little issues in my delivery of those. But what I've figured out is that if I deliver a raw core video, then I can delegate it to a brilliant editor. We have more than one editors on our team, and they're all very unique and they all have a different style, but it's so neat to see what can come to life if I just provide the raw content. So here's kind of what that looks like. What I do is I grab the Dubb mobile app and I just create bursts. I do multiple clips. So I'll create one clip and I'll say, this is a how-to guide on how to create an Instagram reel in 2 minutes. Step 1, record your video content. Step 2, send the link to the video from Google Drive, the Dubb mobile app, or any service that you use to your editor. Now, at that point, your editor can add editing terms to it and add text overlays, emojis, and even music. Once it's done with editing, get it to a copywriter. The copywriter can create a caption and then get it ready for publishing. Once the video and the caption are done, then simply get someone on your team to publish it to your social channels. That person does not have to be you. It could be someone else on your team. At Dubb, we have Joy to thank because she does so much of the great posting for us. Once it's published, you don't have to worry about what the analytics are because you can have someone that manages that. They can look at what's working, what's not working, and then gain inspiration on what you should do in the future. So that was my Reels explaining the whole process of how we sort of hybrid outsource and create our content and then ultimately have a team do it. Now, we don't always have the team do it. Sometimes we do this stuff ourselves, but keep in mind that it does take more time to get those perfect trims and the perfect text and the perfect editing. It does take time. So if you do want to outsource your raw content, consider doing that. Shannon's going to show us what it looks like if you do outsource that and what specifically a timeline might look like if you can get an editor. There's some editing services that we recommend, one of which is called Video Husky. If you don't have the budget to hire a part-time or a full-time editor, what you can do is you can get one of these all-you-can-eat editing services, and then you get a certain amount of time from an overseas editor. So do your own research on that. Just say unlimited video editing. There's a couple of different programs like that.
Yeah, no, I just briefly showed a view into the complex Premiere timeline using Adobe Premiere. You know, you have to pay the monthly subscription to Adobe, but anyone can jump in and use Premiere. I encourage everyone actually to do it. Even though it sounds complex, you know, just try editing a video in it. But if you don't have time to do that, obviously you can get a team around you. And Premiere is the most kind of detailed, complex way to do this. There's so many other services that allow you to edit videos. We like to use Capwing as well, or we just use Dubb, our own platform. There's trimming features within Dubb. So we actually can, we can record a video using the Dubb mobile app. But then if we want to trim some things, we can easily do that on the web interface. We can specify which parts to trim out. If there's any kind of pauses in the speech, we like to make our TikToks and our Reels very fast paced. We want to keep people's attention. So we cut out the pauses using either the Dubb.com interface, or even there's a trimming feature within the mobile app as well that you can do before you upload. But what's cool about Dubb, I mean, after you upload, you can edit it as well. With very limited editing, it's just kind of trimming out specific sections. So that's one end of the spectrum. The other end is Premiere, which I briefly showed you. And yeah, and of course, our social media team has been awesome. Like Ruben said, I mean, here I could just briefly show again what our kind of calendar looks like in Asana, where we have a lot of kind of scheduled posts, you know, to do editing, writing, posting. You know, I really encourage organization around, you know, social media posting. If you're getting into Reels or TikToks, that means probably you're also posting on other places as well. And having that organized, having a content calendar is really helpful for that. And then, of course, we can briefly look at a timeline where we have all types of new content waiting to be edited. And all of this content can be parsed and spliced into smaller pieces of content that then can be distributed across platforms. It's, you know, kind of the waterfall effect is what we do. So if we, you know, we have a YouTube video, that might be used as a reel. So if we're posting a YouTube video, it's a 2-hour-long YouTube video, we'll take clips out of that YouTube video and turn it into a reel. And maybe we can also, of course, our editing team is amazing with helping us do that as well.
Well, thank you so much for watching this tutorial. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. More content like this. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Not necessarily in that order.
Yeah, thank you so much for watching. This has been a Dubb live stream. If you want to learn more about Dubb, head over to Dubb.com. But yeah, that's.
I think the usability was good. The price was right. Everything just seemed to work. It has been fantastic. Dubb is one of the top tools for my company and our business development, prospecting, lead nurturing, deal nurturing. I do Dubb videos for almost everything, and people love it.